Well, hello, friends. Steve Cooney here. I want to welcome you to our webinar today titled Social Security, 7 Keys to Enhancing Benefits. We've got a lot of important information to share with you, so buckle up and let's get started. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Steve Kuna, and I am the managing partner and founder of Retirement CFO. And as you can imagine, I'm a retirement-focused advisor. I've been at it for, I think it's now 27 years, but I'm a certified financial planner, a wealth manager. I do a ton of work in the retirement income planning space. I've also garnered some national recognition as a corporate retirement plan advisor. A couple of different magazines have noted me as a top 100 in the country. I've been featured on a couple of television shows. One of them in particular was the Wall Street Today, which was aired on a couple of different news channels. And so I roll out webinars throughout the year and cover a variety of topics that generally are focused around the topic of retirement and retirement income planning. And obviously, Social Security is a big piece of that. So we'll be covering that in detail today. Of course, I have to give you the required compliance notification that I am not here providing you with legal or tax advice, and that this is information for educational purposes only, and that obviously you should speak directly with Social Security with regards to your specific benefits. Of course, Social Security provides several options, but many people believe that it's very cut and dry, when in fact it is a retirement income source with a fair amount of control when you know what your options are and you make educated decisions. So managing your Social Security benefit is part of your retirement income process. It's a substantial piece of the pie, and it's one that we clearly need to understand fully when we're building out a retirement income strategy. So in terms of our agenda today, I'm going to be covering benefit basics. We're going to talk about income benefits, obviously when to start benefits, pros and cons of when you start. We'll talk about the impact of working in retirement. We also talk about the tax implications on your Social Security based on various levels of income. We're going to talk about the spousal and survivor benefits. And then we have just a few slides at the end. We're going to be going over Medicare basics. And this is a new addition to my practice. We are helping clients with Medicare decisions and looking at various Medicare Advantage and Medigap type plans. So that's now something that's on the menu at our firm. First, we're going to get into some details of the benefit basics of Social Security. So let's talk a little bit about where the typical retiree is getting their income. We are finding that based on recent studies, Social Security continues to be the largest source of retirement income for folks in America. In fact, it represents around 38% of the average retiree's income. The next block would be pensions and retirement, which represents 27%, and that's obviously traditional pension plans, but also withdrawals from retirement plans like 401ks or IRAs. We also finding that pension plans are becoming a smaller slice of the pie every single year as those plans continue to get closed or frozen. The next section would be income generated from interest and dividends, 17% coming from part or full-time employment. And then a final 6% would be from other income, which could be in the form of rental income, for example, on properties that might be owed. We also find, though, that as folks get older, Social Security becomes a larger percentage of their overall income. In fact, at age 75, on average, 45% of a retiree's income is generated specifically from Social Security. A lot of this has to do with many folks really not doing adequate planning for retirement. And as they get, 5 or 10 years into retirement, as they start to spend down assets, a smaller percentage of their overall income is created from their own savings as those savings start to dwindle. So obviously with adequate planning, we're trying to avoid that and try to put folks in a better financial position. Now, a lot of people are under the impression that Social Security is just a retirement benefit. As of June of 2019, 64 million Americans were receiving a Social Security benefit, and it amounted in the excess of $1 trillion in benefits. But actually, it's broken out a little bit more. 73% of benefits are actually retired workers and dependent benefits. 15% of what's paid out is paid to disabled workers and their dependents, and 12% of benefits are paid to survivor of deceased workers. The average retired worker is receiving $1,413 a month. The average disabled worker is receiving $1,198 per month on average as of June of 2019. So here's the million-dollar question. Will it be there? The OASI and the DI Trust Fund expected to be depleted by 2034. They're stating that there's enough revenue coming in to pay about 77% of scheduled benefits up until that point. Now, obviously, we've seen over the years that Social Security continues to adjust the formulas and the tax rates. For example, years ago, normal retirement age or full retirement age was age 65. For many Americans, it's now 67. In addition, Social Security will continue to increase the Social Security wage base. For example, last year, Social Security benefits for the typical retiree was increased by 1.2% as a cost of living increase, yet the amount of income that's taxed, or what's called the Social Security wage base, was increased by about 3.6%. So they'll continue to raise that number to be able to continue to get that revenue to try to continue the solvency of the program. You may recall that Social Security statements used to get mailed out annually, and now it's been changed to 5-year intervals based on your age. But you can go online and create an account at ssa.gov. Once you do set up the account, you have several options, including getting your Social Security statement. However, statements are not automatically mailed if you have an online account. But we do encourage all of our clients to go online. You get the most recent information. It's easy to download. It's quick and clean and more secure. All right, next we're going to be moving on to key number 2, income benefits and how they are calculated. So, how to qualify for benefits? Well, first you must be fully insured, which means you earned the required number of Social Security credits. Most workers need 40 credits, and that's about 10 years worth of work at 4 quarters each year, obviously. You know, through the years, the way you earn credits has changed. In 2020, 1 credit is recorded for every $1,410 that you earn in a year, with 4 credits if you earn $5,640 or more. You can see that since 1978, that's how they ran it. But prior to 1978, you'd earn 1 credit for each calendar quarter in which you had wages or a salary of at least $50 in covered employment. Off to the right, you'll see here in 2020, 1 credit, again, was $1,410, a year's worth of income, $5,640. So now let's cover how benefits are calculated. Your retirement benefit is based on your primary insurance amount, or PIA. And the primary insurance amount is the amount you receive at your full retirement age, or FRA. The FRA is based upon the date you were born. So I'll show you a date chart later in the presentation. But your average indexed monthly earnings, AIME, are used to calculate your PIA. So, for example, if you were born after 1929, you use your highest 35 years to calculate your benefits. And that's for your Social Security Administration benefit amounts. Your actual earnings are indexed to account for average wage changes since the year your earnings were received. We're going to discuss later how your benefits are reduced if you take them prior to your full retirement age. Okay, moving on to key number 3, the magic question, when to start benefits. One of the most critical decisions you must make on this topic. So you can start benefits as early as age 62, as we know, but depending on your full retirement age, as shown in this chart below, you'll receive either a 25 to 30% reduced benefit for your lifetime. So delaying start date after your full retirement age actually results in delayed retirement credits. So selecting the time for you to retire should be based on your health, your life expectancy, how much you have in other retirement resources, etc. So let's examine briefly how you can enhance your benefits by delaying your start date. And if you look at the chart below, you'll see on the left is the various ages at which we assume you start taking benefits. And across the top of the graph, 70, 75, 80, 85, and 90 is just an assumed mortality age. That's when you pass away. So note that these calculations are based on a full retirement age of 66 years old and a monthly benefit amount of $2,000. And then there's an 8% increase for each year that you delay the retirement benefits. We didn't put cost of living or any discounting or any other calculations, just to keep it simple. So in the accumulated benefit at age 70 column, the chart shows the total that you would receive in benefits starting at different ages. So if you started benefits at age 62 and you live until age 70, you would have received $144,000. Yet if you delayed your benefits until age 68 and only lived to age 70, you can see how the amount you would have received decreases because it was only 2 years worth of benefits. Well, this is why it's important to consider when you want to start benefits, as well as considering your projected longevity. Depending on your health, life expectancy, kind of family history, you might opt to delay benefits. Obviously, in poor health, if you've had a lot of your parents, for example, passed away at young ages and so on, it may make sense, as they say, bird in hand, to start taking the benefits earlier at age 62 because of the uncertainty. But you got to look at life expectancy, obviously. If you start at age 62, you're expected to live only to age 70, you win. That maximizes your Social Security benefit. But if you're in good health, you choose to work to age 68 before beginning Social Security, and you're expected to live a long life, your benefits are significantly better. And this is why life expectancy is so important to consider when deciding to start these benefits. And you can see a delay from an early benefit of 62 to a slight, taking it early at 62, by age 90 you would have earned $504,000 of lifetime benefits using our very simple example here. If you waited just 6 years, just past your normal retirement age, it would have been a difference of, over close to $110,000 over your lifetime. So again, all facts to consider. So let's talk about the fourth key here, and that's referring to working in retirement and realizing, depending on your age and depending on what kind of income you earn during certain periods of time, that can have an impact on your Social Security benefit. Let's explore this in detail. So let's get into the details about what happens when you work in retirement. So because of a number of reasons, it could be market downturns, loss of a job earlier in the career than expected, not saving enough, many people are now phasing into retirement and choose to take Social Security benefits at the same time. So in 2020, if you work into your retirement and are between ages 62 and your full retirement age, there is a reduction of $1 in benefits for every $2 that you earn above $18,240. If you work in retirement in the year of your full retirement age, but up to your birthday, so you haven't reached the full retirement age, but it's the year in which you will, there's a reduction of $1 in benefits for every $3 you earn above $48,600, and this is based on 2020 numbers. Now, why they make that change for those couple of months before you hit your age, I have no idea. It seems like just another excuse to make things complicated, but it is a factor you need to think about. And if finally you work after your full retirement age, there's no reduction. So any Social Security income reduced in the early retirement due to working will actually result in a positive adjustment to your monthly benefits when you reach your full retirement age. So you do receive a credit while receiving Social Security, but still paying into the Social Security system. When you finally do reach the full retirement age, it could result in a higher payment. Okay, key number 5, tax implications. We obviously talked about the impact of the benefit while you're working. Let's talk about the tax implications on Social Security depending on various levels of income and how that income is calculated. So let's talk about the taxation of Social Security. Social Security benefits are income tax-free for the majority of beneficiaries. However, many people with higher total incomes are surprised that their Social Security benefits may be subject to federal income tax. And whether and how your Social Security retirement benefits are taxed is based on your what's called combined income. And that is defined as the sum of this following calculation. Take your adjusted gross income, which is generally on the top page of the second page of your 1040. You're going to add in any non-taxable interest. So if you have a large portfolio of municipal bonds generating tax-free dividend income, that will then be pulled into this equation. In addition, you're going to add half of your Social Security benefit to come up with what's known as your combined income. The percentages on the right are the amount of Social Security benefit included in the income. It's not the tax rate on the Social Security benefit. So, for an example, if you're single or head of household with a combined income of less than $25,000, you may not have to include any of your Social Security benefits received as part of your taxable income for the rest of the year. Obviously, if you're married filing joint, that would be under $32,000. If you're single or head of household with a combined income between $25,000 and $34,000, you may have to include up to 50% of your Social Security benefit in your taxable income for that year. Obviously, if you're over $34,000 as a single or head of household, or over $44,000 married filing joint, potentially up to 85% of your Social Security benefit would be includable in your taxable income for that year. Remember that when we talk about the 50 and the 85%, there's some confusion around that. I've had a lot of clients say, I'm going to be taxed at a 50% or an 85% rate on my Social Security, and that is not what we're saying. What we're saying is that a percentage of your Social Security benefit, either 50 or 85, depending on your circumstances, could be includable in your taxable income. That gets added to your tax return, and it will be taxed at a rate based on your marginal tax rate. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, next we're going to talk about Social Security and the spousal and survivor benefit. And I've had to deal with this on numerous occasions over my career, where you had a married couple and one of the spouses pass away. And one of the first questions is, what is going to happen to the Social Security benefits that have been coming into the home for X number of years? We're going to tackle that next. So if a retiree is married, there is another set of considerations you need to understand. And this brings us to the final key, number 7, on spousal benefits. There are calculations and considerations for enhancing benefits for your spouse as well as yourself. So the non-qualifying spouse can collect on the record of the spouse who is qualified to receive benefits. So if the non-qualifying spouse is at their full retirement age, he or she will receive 50% of the PIA, remember the primary insurance amount of the qualifying spouse, and not necessarily their benefit amount. So if the non-qualifying spouse is age 62, he or she may receive a permanently reduced benefit. Now, alternatively, when both spouses qualify on their own records, the situation is then generally the spouse with the lower benefit would receive the benefit based on either their own earnings history or 50% of their spouse's retirement benefit, but they'll always receive the greater of the two. Okay, so what about survivor benefits? This is a big one. So a surviving spouse is eligible to receive survivor benefits as early as age 60. So remember, that's an earlier age, normally 62, to receive Social Security benefits. If you do receive benefits early, you can receive a widow or a widower's benefits based on your age at any time between the age of 60 and your full retirement age as a survivor. However, if you start at an earlier age, your survivor benefits are reduced a fraction of a percentage for each month before your full retirement age. If you receive widow or widower's benefits and you will qualify for a retirement benefit that's more than your survivor's benefit, you can switch to your own retirement benefit as early as age 62. Okay? So the rules are a little complicated. They vary depending on your situation. So again, you want to talk to Social Security reps on this to make sure you're clear on all of the options available to you. All right, next we're going to talk about benefits for divorced spouses. Well, this is one that I have some personal experience with. My parents were divorced, and my mother was a homemaker, and she did not qualify for her own Social Security benefits. And during the divorce, as their son, the financial planner, I ended up in the middle of much of this negotiation as we had to figure out what she was entitled to from Social Security, as well as pensions, military pensions, and corporate pensions, and other assets. So not a great place to be, but we got through it. But basically, an ex-spouse can get Social Security benefits based on the other ex-spouse's record if the marriage lasted at least 10 years. In our case, it did. The ex-spouse or the person receiving benefits must be 62 years of age or older and unmarried. So the benefit that the receiving person is entitled to receive based on his or her own work is less than the benefit based on the divorce. So the amount of the benefit has no effect on the other ex-spouse or their current spouse. And also, if divorced for at least 2 years and both ex-spouses are at least age 62, divorced spouse can get benefits even if the other ex-spouse has not started Social Security benefits. So again, it's interesting stuff here, but again, if my dad was younger than my mother in this example, my mother reached age 62, my father was younger than that, not yet at an age where he could start to collect benefits, she would be entitled to collect a reduced Social Security benefit at age 62 based on his projected benefits. So again, it can get a little dicey and can get a little confusing, and everybody's situation is different. So that's why these are things that we can provide a lot of guidance on, but you want to get the actual numbers directly from Social Security. Okay, and finally, we're going to be finishing up with our coverage of Medicare. We're going to keep this at about a 30,000-foot view, but we do want to give you an overview, kind of a taste, because Medicare is, in many ways, kind of tied to Social Security. So let's take a look. So Medicare eligibility. So you become eligible for Medicare on the first day of the month you turn age 65. If you're already receiving Social Security benefits, you are automatically enrolled. So if you decided to take your benefits, say at age 62, when you hit 65, you're already there. If you're not receiving Social Security benefits, you must enroll to receive the benefit. When you enroll can affect your premiums, so it's important to enroll when you turn age 65, because if you delay, you may pay higher premiums. So it's recommended that you apply 3 months before you actually reach age 65. There's 4 parts to Medicare, and I'm going to cover all of them in the next slide. All right, so the 4 parts of Medicare, A, B, C, and D. Let's give you a summary here. So Part A is free, but there are deductibles and copays, and it's going to obviously pay for some of the cost of hospitalization, limited skilled nursing home care, very limited, hospice care, and some home health services. Part B is primarily covers the physician services, so it's most outpatient hospital services, certain related services. Long-term nursing home care is currently not covered, and I don't think it ever will be. There's been a lot of misconceptions. People think that long-term nursing home care is covered by Medicare, and that is not the case. Medicare will cover the first 20 days in full for a medically necessary nursing home stay. They will pay a portion for the next 80 days, all but approximately, I think it's about $140 per day, and the rest is on the patient. After 100 days, you are on private pay, and you will pay that cost of that nursing facility as long as you have assets to pay. And once you reach the point where your assets have been basically depleted, you can then apply for Medicaid and get state-run benefits to cover that nursing home cost. And then Part B, the premium for Part B is currently $148.50 in the month of 2021. Again, that is there's a cost for that part, and you do have to apply for it or sign up for it. You don't have to apply, but you have to sign up for it. Now, Part C includes managed care plans. We call them Medicare Advantage plans, private fee-for-service plans, medical savings accounts. It may offer extra coverage like vision, dental, health and wellness programs. Sometimes they'll have a fitness club benefit and so on. These are plans that are very similar to what most of you are used to with comprehensive major medical plans that were provided through your employer. There can be HMO type plans, PPO type plans. They're the local health companies that you're familiar with, and they are offered on a per county basis. And so certain plans are available and approved in your county. There's mandates as to certain benefits that they all must provide. And so really it's a matter of trying to compare the different programs that are out there to see what makes sense. Some of them there is a premium, some of them there's no additional premium. And it really just depends on the particular program. And then Part D is the voluntary prescription drug coverage. And remember, note that Medicare does not cover everything. There are Medicare Advantage plans that also do include prescription drugs as part of the service. Not all of them have it, but the majority do. This is also part of a service that we offer. We are now helping clients in the states of Massachusetts and New Hampshire go over their options, and we'll talk a bit about that in the next slide. All right, so there's a few decisions you're going to need to make at this point. The two main ones are, first and foremost, is that do you want to stay with original Medicare, or do you want to go with a Medicare Advantage plan, which again is like an HMO or PPO that most people are pretty used to. The second decision is, do you need to add prescription drug coverage? Most Medicare Advantage plans do cover prescription drugs, but it can be added to some plans if it's not already included. And then the third decision is about, do you need to add supplemental coverage at all? And that's where we get into, Medigap coverages and so on. Again, you can add a Medigap plan or a Medicare supplement plan, as they're sometimes referred to, on top of original Medicare. And this is the plan that will pick up a lot of the deductibles and the co-pays that you're going to have with original Medicare. Or you could go with a single plan on the Medicare Advantage side and essentially get everything in one package. We tend to find that more clients lean towards Medicare Advantage because it's more similar to what they've been used to with a regular comprehensive major medical plan. So it's clear here, obviously, folks, Social Security is just one extremely important part of your overall retirement source of income, and it's an integral part of any retirement income plan. Today we covered 7 key elements to enhancing your Social Security benefits, and we started off with really understanding the basic benefits involved. We talked about income benefits. We talked about the impact of when to start benefits and how if you start early, there'll be reduction of those benefits for life. If you defer taking benefits, you'll get credits and you'll get higher payouts for life as well. We talked about the impact of working in retirement, and depending on your earnings, how that can actually have an impact in reducing your Social Security benefit before you get to the point where you're reaching the year that you're going to be at full retirement age. We also talked about the tax implications, and again, how the income is calculated considering your adjusted gross income plus half of your Social Security benefit, and also any tax-free interest and dividend income, and getting that to come up with a combined income, and then looking at income ranges to determine what percentage of our Social Security may be taxed, if at all. It's either not taxed at all, it'll be taxed, 50% will be taxed, or 85% will be taxed. And remember that the tax that's applied is based on your marginal tax rate. We also talked about spousal and survivor benefits, and we also talked about the situation when there's a divorce and what an ex-spouse is entitled to for benefits. And lastly, we got into Medicare basics, just a quick overview of Medicare Advantage plans, and some of the things that you want to be mindful of as you start to make decisions in that space. So hopefully you're going to feel a little more comfortable in looking at retirement strategies, when they're considering the aspects of Social Security in your overall plan. So we covered a lot of things to think about. And Social Security is, some would say, the foundation to your retirement income sources. But what should you do next? Well, we suggest you make sure you understand all your filing options available to you. Hopefully today's discussion will help you with that. Evaluate if your basic retirement income needs are likely to be covered by your retirement income sources that you're aware of. And consider creating a lifelong retirement income plan that's dollar and date specific to help fund any potential retirement income gaps. See, I help create retirement income strategies for clients using a variety of strategies, including growth, capital appreciation, dividend income, guaranteed income contracts. For those who want to leave a legacy, we have additional considerations to preserve your estate by minimizing estate taxes, income taxes, and also probate avoidance. So that's all part of really what I would consider a comprehensive retirement income strategy. So I want to thank you again for your attention today and for joining me. And again, for those who are clients, you have all this information. But if you're new to my organization, again, my name is Steve Kuna. My contact information is on the screen, phone numbers, emails, and websites. We also cover a variety of topics. I run over 50 webinars a year covering things like retirement income planning, college planning, helping folks save on the cost of college and not just for college. We have a session on how technology will change your retirement. We do a more detailed program on Medicare. We call it Medicare 101. We do semi-annual market updates or market forecasts. In fact, I just did one last week for the second half of 2021. Also, we do a program on raising financially aware kids, cybersecurity, and a number of other topics. If there's something that you're dying to learn about, feel free to reach out and say, hey, I'd love to hear a session on such and such a topic. Through the resource I have in this industry, I can get my hands on information on just about anything. So if there's a demand for it, I'd like to help meet that demand. So again, I thank you so much for your time and attention today and your consideration. If I can be of any assistance to you, please feel free to reach out. And I wish you well. Take care.